Behind the Shades.
How did you get started in doing this and why?
Right. So in childhood, I felt as a 5-year-old that I was born in the wrong family. Very, very strange. I could tell you exactly where I was 5 years old when my thoughts and my feelings came together. I realized I did this is I'm born in the wrong family. This is really strange. It was very scary and kind of like approached my life this way. What happened is I became observant of people. I started watching the world, trying to understand how is that possible? How can you be born in a family with 7 people in the house and you completely don't belong there and you're invisible? Strange. Anyway, so I started watching people then. And I watched people in school. I was the kid that was quiet in the corner, observing. And that kind of tuned in a radar of I'm able to pick up energy in people, just focusing on them. It's kind of cool. So it's my one of my gifts that developed from that. But I was also always curious. I was a curious mind over that as well. So I started taking personal development classes when I was 23 years old. I never stopped. In back in the days, it was weird. My friends like, let's go to the beach. I'm in a workshop this weekend. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to get ahead of my life in every way, financial, personal, right? Life, business, purpose. Anyway, so that's my brain. I'm curious. I want to eat it all up, and I want everything out of life because I don't know how to do anything because apparently I don't even belong here. Interesting. So that's how it started. 2006, I'm in San Jose, California. At the time, I had another business that I reached the ceiling. With my knowledge, I was at the max. I did not know how to make more money with it. So I went in a business workshop for 3 days in San Jose, Northern California. So I met this couple who ended up sitting next to me on the plane flying back, which I thought was random. And I realized that nothing is random. I mean, my entire belief system about life and what we attract, how, anyway. So on the plane, Mr. Curious, the lady says to me, "What are you doing next weekend?" And I go, "I'm free next weekend. I'm not working." She goes, "Do you want to come to a workshop?" It's on me. I'm like, "Of course, yeah, sure, yes, of course," because these could be expensive, these right, and that's my brain. You got something to teach, I'll take it. And then I asked what it was about because I agreed before even knowing what it was. And I go, "So what's the workshop?" She goes, "Oh, it's called Understanding Women." I look at my face. I went a little bit like, oh, like now. Part of my resistance at that moment, I work hard, so the weekends is when I recover. I'll take a workshop to learn some stuff, but if I'm going to spend a weekend in understanding women, I'm going really. Like, part of it is because I always attracted sweet women. At the time, I was married with 2 little kids. Like my wife and I do fantastic. She's an angel. I'm not looking for this. I know how to do this. I've done this my whole life. I have no trouble with women. I don't attract the wild one. I attract the sweet one. So damn. So now I'm gonna spend a week. Okay. So I went in there a little bit backwards. But when I walked into space, it was in a big hotel by the airport in Los Angeles. I walked in, it was 400 people in the space. And I remember going, oh, wait, this isn't going to be cute. And sure enough, over the period of the workshop, I slipped off my chair to the ground like 7 times, maybe 8. I realized in that workshop that I absolutely knew zero about nothing. I knew nothing. Do you understand? Like nothing about women, nothing. And the scary part is that means I knew nothing about my wife. We have kids. This is my angel. All my brothers and sisters have divorced 3 or 4 times, every one of them. So for my brain, the idea of screwing up my relationship because I didn't know was insane. So that's how it started. I jumped in a company. I took all their workshops. I think they had 9 at the time. I took all the curriculum about relationship dynamics, men, women, and all that jazz. I ended up assisting you did all the relationships you could assist. So I would assist for free entire weekends, just giving my time away to be in the space, to be in the room, to hear it again, to hear it differently. To integrate. I did that for years. And I became a workshop leader for them because I'm a teacher. So it was kind of a natural skip. And that's how it all started. ultimately I kept studying with other companies and other people, John Gray, Martin Venus, Shanti Felhan in the South, Esther Perel, New York City, Dr. Pat Howell in Los Angeles. These are masters on which I stand, the shoulder I stand on. And it became so, again, I was doing this for us. I was doing this for me. I was doing this for my family. And it exploded. I started helping my friends. I was in my other business, and people would like walk into my office and spill their guts and start crying, and I had to shut the door constantly. Like the staff knew to not come in when the door was shut because somebody's crying and spilling their life on me. I have this people like open up to me. This always, I don't know how that works, but some kind of energy. I don't know. And that's how it started. So I started helping my friends, my customer at the other business, and then in 2009, 3 years in this tornado, I started Project Equinox officially. So I did both business for a while. I was trying to keep the other one as a cash cow, and eventually both kept expanding, and I almost died. So the last 3 years were like I was working 2 full-time jobs all the time, doing workshop in the weekend and working all week, regular hours, and evenings on the week, whatever. So eventually I had to sell my business in order to do this full time. That's how we got here.
Yeah, I know for me, because I'm in my 30s now, and in my 20s, I realized I knew nothing about women. And in my arrogance at times, I thought that I knew 25%.
Right.
We have a sense of,
yeah,
you have a sense of, right?
Right.
And one thing, and what made me realize that is, even though it wasn't a workshop setting like how you had one, it was just an environment where I was around people that were trying to make it work, who are a little bit older, maybe a little bit more seasoned and experienced.
Yep.
And some of the interaction that they were having, I was trying to understand, okay, why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this happening? And once I began to ask the right questions, and once I started to get outside of myself, that's when I realized, okay, there's more to what you can just maybe see in your day to day, because that's very anecdotal, right? What were some of the thoughts that were going through your head when you realized, hey, I don't know anything about women. I need to continue to, as you mentioned, craft your skill and to get more experiences and to participate further in these workshops?
It was fear. I have 2 little kids, a beautiful wife, and I realized I know nothing. That is too much for me. Like this doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Again, it won't be a statistic because I didn't know. I'm that guy. I'll go find out. And so that was a drive really, and then it developed into its own business by default because people kept coming at me. Like it was kind of, I hate that word because it's very LA, but it kind of happened organically. But I'm very, very, very passionate about it. When I started breaking down what doesn't work, for what works, everything in our culture is keeping this from working. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what's the new normal is why everybody's struggling in relationships. Like that's it. So I think my job often is to sound the alarm. Wake up. Wake up. It's not working, and equality is beautiful and fine, and men and women are equally as important, but we're not the same, right? And I transgress that equality is like we're the same. So a man should be more like a woman to be a good man. Sweet, sensitive, talkative, vulnerable. No, that's your girlfriend. And men who do this, you don't respect. They're weak, right? They don't have any mojo. They can't make you feel safe. It doesn't work, right? And women should be more like men to be good women in our culture. Strong, independent, powerful. Okay, it works for business, except when you don't turn it off, because nobody turns it off, because it becomes a way of operating and constantly. Masculine men are not interested in strong and powerful women. They're not interested in women's careers and their money. It's irrelevant to a man who has his own. That's not what men are attracted to women, right? So, but everybody's teaching women, go girl, that boss babe, badass,
A girl summer.
You know what I mean? But then understand. So it's interesting because then all of my clients, so like these ladies who are doing that, which is great. They have their own car, money, blah blah blah. It's fantastic, good for you. And they go, how come nobody's dating me? I can't get a date. Nobody cares. I'm still young. I'm pretty. I have everything. I'm no trouble. Nobody's dating me. I'm like, I know. You're too masculine. And the masculine men aren't interested in that. You're inside out. You act like a dude, because masculine women tend to be aggressive, disagreeable, not cooperative, lean in, push, opinionated, all this stuff that on some of them, and I hate to say this, and it's going to trigger people, but the worst quality of men become how women act in their masculine. So real men aren't interested in that. Men are attracted to feminine, soft, warm, kind energy. Masculine men want women who they could, relax, be at peace, harmony, right? They don't want stress, they don't want trauma, they don't want argument, they don't want competitive energy, they don't want you to lean on them, they don't want to be mothered, right? So everything that we make women proud of, they throw in relationship paradigm, and it goes nowhere. And women are, in my world, like they're hurt. They're hurt. I don't understand what's wrong with me. I'm like, you over-calibrated. You've been raised to believe in stuff that doesn't work for love. So you can be strong, independent, but in relationship, if you lead with that, men just walk away. It's more so than that. Men don't even say hi to you. Like that energy is so off-putting to masculine men. They literally just like get away from you. They get away from you. They get away from you. They don't even say hi. You don't even meet them. What you do attract is what I call boys. The men who are feminist, the men who like 50-50 because they don't want to pay for nothing, right? The men who are soft and sensitive like you want to be, except they don't ever make you feel safe. They don't step up. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to marry you. They don't want to take care of your kids. They don't want to have children. They want any responsibilities. They want to play. They want to play you. They want to play. They want you to give them money. They want you to keep them comfortable, right? They're the girl. Like, so they want you to be the man, while they're the girl, and go girl and get that career and that promotion. I'm so proud of you, babe. Where he's on the couch smoking a joint, putting the dog, and writing his music. Like, fuck that. Sorry, but that's bullshit. And this is
I
what everybody's
tried.
experiencing. Yeah.
No, you're right. And I tried to explain that to someone who was having a very difficult time accepting it. And I said it exactly how you're saying. I said that you're disagreeable. You value your money and career more so than everything else. And to a lot of men who are going to be something with themselves, right? Who are
Sure.
ambitious and who inspire, they don't find that attractive because they already have that within themselves. What they want is they want to come home and just be at peace. I'm like, but you're
Not at all.
always warring. And she had such a difficult time. And I told her that when you were married, you were not this person. So you're able to get married when you were calm, gentle, and things like that. Now, after
Sweet,
the fact,
feminine, right?
exactly right. Now, after the fact, you can't make it work because you're this person. But she had a very difficult time connecting it. So, how do you help your clients connect the two?
Well, it's a process. It's a real process because women are like, so what am I supposed to do? Like, okay, I'm a dude, with breasts. So what am I supposed to do? We just have to switch your energy. Now, it's interesting because, like what happened is, you understand we both have masculine, feminine energy within us, right? Which is the game, which is the balance. This is how we get to be balanced. But my clients are all upside down. They're all like, I call it, it's called ego dystonic. They're living outside of their feminine bodies and living in their masculine energy. They're inside out. They're ego dystonic. So are the boys. Boys are more feminine. They don't want to work. They don't want anything that men do naturally. Ego dystonic. It comes from injuries from the past. It comes from childhood always, right? Which is part of the first thing I do with my clients is find out where the wheels came off, that you felt so unsafe as a woman, you had to man up as a little girl, and it becomes your lifestyle, and you don't know any different. Then your femininity never got to evolve, grow, and now so these women are. So it's not. So they're tilted. They're tilted. They're completely tilted, which is okay. That happens. It's okay. It's not your fault. It's your past. It's your parents. It's your lack of parenting or whatever. So it's not. And then whatever you build as a woman that you're so proud of, go girl, for the culture. We don't undo it. We don't undo it. Like it's not about like bringing. Because I hate this. Like often feminists will say stuff to me like this, like, "Oh, so do we have to dumb it down for you boys? Do we have to wiggle our asses like Marilyn Monroe?" I'm like, I'm gonna punch you if you're present in front of me. That's not what I'm saying. That's freaking rude and disrespectful. So chill out. Let me explain. It's not about undoing you, and it's not about our ego. It's about nature and the dance between men and women, feminine energy. Yin yang. Everything is polarized in the world. Everything in nature that works is yin yang. polarized. And we trying to equalize men and women thinking we're smarter. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So we don't undo everything that you are and your badassness. But this is the way I say it. It's a little bit crass, but here goes. I go, you can be a badass all day long. However, when you're done with work, leave your balls at work. Leave your balls in the desk drawer, because most of you come out of this disagreeable, ballsy, opinionated, pushy, leaning in, controlling, which is very irritating to men because that's our job, to control our lives and the things we care about in our lives. Masculine. So I say to my ladies, leave your balls at work, because if you don't, you're throwing your balls in everybody's face out there. You're irritating as hell. You're not intimidating. You're not intimidating. Big mistake, ladies. You're not intimidating to men. You're freaking irritating, and they don't want nothing to do with that energy. So keep your balls at work and stop throwing in everybody's face, especially on dates. Women, like, they go on dates and put their balls in the guy's face. Look how powerful I am. Look what I'm doing. I'm shooting for CEO of, like, he's out of there.
Look at the car I have. I make 6 figures. I have
Who
this. I
cares?
have that. No one cares.
No one gives a shit. Like, men don't give a shit. They have their own. And typically women don't share their money, so your money is irrelevant altogether. I'm not going to benefit from any of that ever. And again, I'm looking for peace, harmony, like warmth, like inspiring. Feminine energy is very inspiring and inspires us to do bigger and better. It just like lifts our spirit. It lights us up. Your masculinity is irritating. So, like, again, the culture says go girl because that's what men want. Absolutely not. And all of my clients attract boys who are not men. They're also broken the other way. And these are the guys, by the way, these are the toxic ones. These are the ones who cheat. These are the ones who lie. These are the ones who scam, steal your money. They don't want to step up. They don't want to provide, protect, cherish, give to women at all. They don't want anything. They want to take from you. See, masculine energy gives women. Provide, protects, gives, and cherish. That's instinctual. No manipulation needed. That's our nature. Men, but we've broken men, boys, do the exact opposite. They take from women. They take your time, they take your energy, they take your sex, they take your money, they take your advice. You end up babying them. They're little boys, and you can respect them. But if you're masculine, ladies, that's it. If you're struggling with a relationship with men and you're masculine, this is your problem. You're attracting, again, what nature does, the opposite energetically. So if you're masculine and badass, boss babe, and you want somebody equal, you're going to find somebody not equal. You're going to find a sweet little boy who wants you to do all the work. You're going to end up taking care of him. You're going to end up paying for him. He's going to move into your house because he hates his landlord. He's going to be driving your car because he can afford to fix this piece of shit. He's going to quit his job because his boss is a douchebag. Like, they're ridiculous.
There's like no backbone. It's like we went from providing provisions and protection to just sitting on our sofa saying that, hey, honey, can you get me this? There is, and I try to explain this to men that these days you take too long to grow up and to be the man that you're supposed to be. And some men will say that, well, I'm in my 30s, I'm still young. You've been an adult for 12 years.
Dude, get this. Get this. What we call it in our culture, it's also another cultural thing that is done on purpose, by the way. There's an agenda here. We extend adolescence for men, especially. Extensive, so get this, statistics. A 20-year-old European male is as mature as a 30-year-old American. Fact.
I believe that.
Fact.
I 100% believe that.
Because the moment they become teenagers, right? The moment they get out of high school, they go right to trade school. They teach them to use their hands in iron, mechanical work, iron work, woodwork, whatever. They actually put them in a trade. They encourage them to step in, to handle, to learn, to challenge themselves. Here, they stay in mom's basement until 30 playing video games, going to their Starbucks job. That's an adolescent, right? That's what we do, because we cuddle our sons too much and we push our daughters. Go girl. So all the women are in school and the guys are in the basement playing video games. Like we extend adolescence, and it's now a terrible problem. And the women who are powerful, like, where are all the good guys? Well, in the basement.
Oh yeah, they're hiding out,
They're
and
hiding out.
it's interesting that you say that because I was saying the exact same thing to a group of friends of mine because they still dress like they were in their teens. They
Yep.
still speak like they were in their teens. They
Yep.
still behave the way they do in their teens,
Yep.
and they're approaching 40. And I was telling them that you spent 20 extra years being a child and
Oh my
still
God.
getting proverbially breastfed from your mother because you haven't disconnected. You don't no
Yep.
idea how it is to be responsible for electricity bill,
God,
for
preach, my
water
man.
bill,
Yep.
right? So talk to the men. Like, how do we
Well,
get them to understand that, hey, grow up and be a man?
it's funny because you said it right. So they get breastfed. They still get to nurse on mom in their adulthood, and if mom isn't present, they go nurse on another woman who's gonna basically he's gonna nurse off of, right? Nurse off a vagina, or, nurse off of her like bank account, nurse off her energy, like weak. Boy, so what I say to men is funny because in my world, is I teach this to the ladies right off the bat. After you figure out why you're masculine and where the wheels came off early on, because it's always an injury. There's always we all have injuries. So let's put it this way. And you can't get in a healthy relationship until you clean up your baggage. So that's one. But the second thing I teach is there's three types of men: boys, guys, and men. The guys are somewhere in the middle, and I won't take any time to describe it, but the men are different completely than the boys. And the boys, again, will ruin your life, where a man will try to, like add to your life, you know, help you have it a better life, an easier life. That's men. So when I deal with boys, those are the guys when I say, you need to man the hell up. Dude, that's toxic. And I had one say to me, there's more to life than money, as he's literally walking around the neighborhood. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a job. Well, why don't you have a job? Well, I don't feel like it and get up in the morning early. I'm like, wow, right? When a man says, I don't feel like it, that is not a man. That's a boy. And they have all the reasons in the world why they can't work, or they don't want to work, or you can't move out or whatever. Like, it's really hard out there. I mean, really? Do you think everybody else got it easy? They figured it out. So I say, grab your balls with one hand, the doorknob with the other, get the hell out there and fight for yourself, build something, right? Because this is how men become powerful and respectable. They step in life and they step into their fear. They go conquer something that's difficult. That's the point. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. But these guys don't do it, right? Like I said, they say passive and like teenagers. But real men go out in the world, they compete, conquer something, they fight for it. It's difficult. And that's how they build their character. That's how they build their self-confidence. That's how they build. They make a dent in the world. They're relevant. They're irrelevant. Boys are irrelevant. That's why they get no respect. So a man who does this, masculine, then not only gets self-respect, but commands respect for both men and women in the world. Like a man who manages life, gets his shit together and builds something that's difficult. People go, wow, good. Wow, you didn't, you know what I mean? You can respect that. Boys don't want to do any of that. So I'm like, you get to man the fuck up, right? Grab your balls and go. It's uncomfortable. That's the point. You don't learn anything when you're comfortable. So, I mean, at one point in my life, part of my personal development stuff, and I kind of put that together, that I don't learn anything when I'm comfortable, ever. It's always stepping out of the box that I stretch and I go, I didn't know I could do that. Look at that. Things that scared me that would tackle on the other side was never as scary as the thought of it, any one of them. And I go on the other side and go, wow, look at me. Like I worked that out. Look, wow. Self-confidence, self-esteem, right? With self-respect. And so I made it a life, like a lifestyle for years. If there's something I didn't want to do, I went and did it. If something that scared me, I stepped right into it. If something I wanted to feel resistance again, I'd go right for it. And the bigger the thing, the more I was like, damn it, I got to go do it. And now,
I
and
love
that,
that.
but that's how I did it, right? So today, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to say that I'm all that, but like, you can't scare me. You can't rattle me, like, and even when life happens, to throw me a curveball, I go, okay, bring it. I'll work it out, because I always do. But that comes from battling for years. So, man, when I say man up, that's what I mean. Step into it. You're afraid? Go
Yeah.
for it. You're uncomfortable?
I,
That's right.
I
Go
love
for
the
it.
adversity because that's where I learned. Like when I was uncomfortable, when I was struggling, when I thought that I couldn't hit a lower point in my life, I learned so much about myself. And there's one thing that you mentioned that I really wanted to touch on because I've been preaching this. I'm probably going to preach until I pass away. Is that there's people, when I hear someone say, I feel this, I feel that, I always interject and I ask them, okay, tell me what you think. Tell
Right.
me what you know because you're telling me from a place of emotions. Tell me what you think. I think I'm going to be great. I think I can get a job. I think I'm going to be successful. Your feelings are fine. Express it how you want to express it. But when you're, at least for me, when I'm having a conversation between men, it's a different conversation that I'll have versus when I have a conversation between myself and women.
Yep.
But I've noticed some men, they speak to me like I'm in a relationship with them, like I'm dating them. Like, oh, are you okay? How are you
Yeah.
feeling today? Can I hold you? And so it's kind of, the dynamic is kind of strange, but I know for you, you know the scientific side, you know that side of it. So
Mhm.
why do you think that shift is happening, especially in the men when it comes to their behavior when they step into the world?
Well, like I said, we keep them adolescents forever. They don't know who they are. They don't have any strength. They don't know how to step in. They're raised. Oof, there's another one that's going to trigger people. Sorry, just not my opinion, just factual. Is there are so many kids without fathers, men without fathers, and your father is supposed to be a role model, right? To teach you how to be a man, and that seed, right? There's a seed in us that has to be cultivated. A woman can't do this, not because they're stupid, because they can't. Like a woman cannot raise a son. A man needs to raise a son. Men need to mentor men into manhood. What happens then if you don't have a father and your mother becomes mama bear, so she becomes controlling and the man, but she's not a man. And women will raise their son to be sweet and sensitive and kind and talkative and vulnerable. And so these guys learn and emulate their mothers, and women run their lives through their feelings. Men roll their lives to their thinking, their logic. So these guys are trained by their mothers. There's no male role models to say, stop feeling that. It doesn't matter how you feel, it needs to get freaking done. I don't feel, who cares how you feel? Go, get to school, go, get on your bike and get this, right? So men teach men to really kind of step in where mothers keep them comfortable and so they emulate feelings, and they actually think that's the right way of operating. So when men operate from their feelings, they're weak, they're lame, and no one can respect them. And especially women, and women don't feel safe with those guys because he's weak. And first, the primary need of a woman with a man is, do I feel safe with him? Do I feel safe with him? Like emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, do I feel safe with this man? There's 4 layers of safety for women. It's like it's not spoken, it's not a thought process, it's in your bones. If you don't feel safe, you can't respect him. If you can't respect him, you're gonna find somebody to respect. That'll be a man who handles his shit, handles his life, has some mojo, have some swag, has some money, he has some confidence, personality, all that crap, right? And that's what women find sexy. Because the guy knows who he is and you feel safe with him. You can provide, protect, all that. So that's it's a cultural stuff, right? We men raised by their mothers are girls with penises and they have a really hard time in life. It's not their fault. And that's fixable. That's part of the work that I do with them. Same with women who are too masculine. There's an issue, no daddy. If a woman, a little girl, doesn't have a father to kind of like, father is safety over the household. Father is role model for his sons and safety for the ladies, for the women. That's why it's essential to have a father around. So when father isn't present, whether he's dead or he's divorced or he's an alcoholic, because bad daddy is as bad as no daddy, maybe even worse, more damaging. If the women don't feel safe, the little girl can't grow into a feminine. The mother has to become the man. So the mother becomes mama bear if he's weak or absent. Mama bear is not sweet. Mama bear is not lovely. Well, mama bear is not feminine. Mama bear is an animal, and she's actually, she'll kill you just to get in her vicinity, right? So she will raise the boys, actually castrate the boys, And we'll actually teach the girls, go girl, right? So like you have to be, so the girls will role model after mama bear, which is masculine. It's a disaster. So it's not like, and I understand, like, no judgment, right? Single motherhood happens, but you understand the numbers are through the roof. 70% of Black kids are raised in single family home, 55 Latino, 25 white. 30 years ago, it was 20, 15, and 5. It's gone to the roof. And that explains men. That explains the boys who don't have role models and nobody is mentoring them into manhood. So that's cultural, right? It's when women get paid to divorce their husband and the government takes care of them, they remove the man. They think they're independent. Not really. They depend on the government now, which is paid by men.
What about Andre?
Tragic.
What about the women who are out there who are saying that it's not my fault that the marriage ended? It's just he's a bum. He doesn't want to do anything. How about that argument, and how do you tackle that?
I get a lot of these, but again, if you're masculine, you will attract a bum and a loser and a manipulator and a narcissist. He's just gone out, right? So, okay, so again, we have to figure out what happened to you so that you're so masculine that that's your narrative. That's okay. It's not your fault, typically. And of course that happens. But if you have sons, especially, but even daughters, but sons primarily, understand that you can't make a man out of him as a woman. You can't. Man, these boys need men. So you surround them with men. They throw them in any kind of like sports or activities as a male mentor, a good man. You know what I mean? If you have brothers, bring the uncles around. If grandpa's available, have grandpa part of their lives. Like, find systems when men can be around men in teams with mentorship. And it could be chess team. It doesn't have to be sports. Like, my son is in sport. That's not about that. It's about being with men and being mentored and being guided, and so they could role model after what a man actually is and how we're logical and we're linear, and there's a flex in that as well. But you can't be living your life through your feelings and think you're going to go anywhere. You got to use your life with your logic and your planning and stepping in. And only men can teach you that. And men will also teach you also how to not be toxic, right? Like, only good man can raise good man. Not women can't do it. It's not because they can't. They're women. They don't have they have a whole different approach, different set of values. Ideally, we need both. But if you lose the man, put the boys in the presence of men everywhere you can.
That's what helped me, was the presence, as you mentioned, with men, because sports was my thing for me growing up, because I didn't have my mother, I didn't have my father, so I was without both.
Yep.
But I became the man that I am today because I was tested by other men. Right. And that's a test. I know, it's like, boom. And that was something I think that was missing for a lot of people that I currently help, because when I speak to the women because I work with a women's charity, when I speak to the women, the men that you described, that we say that have been prolonged their adolescence, that are boys, I tell them, these are the type of men you avoid. And they're exactly the type of men that you described, the ones who are lazy, who don't have ambition, who want to get taken care of, who scam, who do all these things. And I tell them that men need men to become men. You have to find your tribe. And it sounds so simple, at least to you and I, maybe to many others listening. But where's the disconnect from the women who are saying, nope, I'm good enough, I'm Superwoman, I'm Wonder Woman, and I can do it all on my own?
Yeah. Well, part of the agenda, part of the destructiveness of that is the women who had bad husbands, right, who attracted boys for whatever reason. By the way, a drunk is a boy. Right? If the man's an alcoholic, addicted to anything at all, he's a boy. He's living through his feelings, trying to feel better with alcohol, booze, drugs, sex, eating, you name it. Gambling. These are all addictions that men have when they're boys. They're trying to feel better. Real men don't care about how they feel. They do what needs to be done. They actually push through their feelings. That it doesn't keep them from moving. So any addict that you married is a boy, which means you're the man. So we have to look into that. So it's on you as much as it's on him, but the attraction, anyway. So what happened to a lot of women who attracted the bad guys who by the way, women are attracted to bad guys because they're wild and they're exciting and they're fun and they're adventurous and they're completely freaking crazy and you can't control them. And women like that. But these are the anyway. You know what I'm saying? But so when they get married, if they get married, they make kids with those guys, and of course they leave, they cheat, they lie, right? So it has to go away. So women are so angry that they try to teach their boys to not be like that guy, and this is when it becomes destructive. I have my son. Get this, my son has 5 friends that has been around since he was 13 years old, and so there's 6 of them all together. They're always in my house up to like last year because now they're grown up. But they were in my house every weekend from Friday to Saturday afternoon. Like they would spend the night, they would play video games in the morning, and eat. They did no drugs, no alcohol. Like, I'm so proud of them, like all the way through. Out of the 5 boys, my son's the only one who has a father, me. All of them fatherless. All of this kind of struggling, all of them weak, but one, oh, so get this. This is obscene, I think. The one who's in trouble, the one who's really now in trouble, by the way, he's 22 years old. Single mom. His dad is in jail as a convict, and they never married. So talk about poor choices. So she makes a baby with a criminal who is not part of his life and her life. You know what I mean? And so what happened is he's born, and she's constantly, and I see it do it, like she's after him like a banshee. She's like gonna crush his masculinity because he won't turn out like a douchebag like his father. And what's happening is she's so crushing on him, she literally has us castrated. If he's late, this is like just a couple of years ago, he's 19 years old. So a couple more years, a little bit longer. But if he was staying too late, she'd start blowing up his phone. And she goes, I'm going to get you right now, right? And he'd be like shaking, afraid of her. Like she is destroying him. And what happens is when she's not around, he's an animal. Because he's fighting back against the control that she's like trying to like crush him with. And so, everything she's trying him not to be, like his father, the douchebag, he's becoming. So so her thing, and I know she's completely righteous about this, and I can't even talk to her about it because she believes she's going to make one, not like the criminal father, and every man that she knows is a criminal, except she's producing one by her destroying his sense of self and controlling him. And I want to say to her, like, stop trying to control him. Let him be. Let him actually push him out, because she's buying him a car, trying to keep him close. Right? She's trying to keep him at home. She's like, he's got a curfew. He's 22 years old, still has a curfew. Controls the shit out of him. That's going to backfire so much. And I said, what you should be doing is apologizing for your poor choices from the get-go and push him into being a relationship with a good man that he could actually be guided, because what she's doing is turning him, he's going to end up in jail. He's turning into an animal.
I think that's what women miss, right? Women miss that their
Yeah.
action is what's producing. There's that running joke, right? That women who choose poorly produce the men that they actually dislike. And
you said it.
Right. And even though we may be lighthearted about that, but the problem with that is, in the example you gave, is that you're taking out a poor decision on someone that is innocent of that decision, because the 2 people involved, they were the ones who got together to create this child. The child didn't say create me. Right. And now this child is under this person's control. And I've seen that happen far too often, where you have men who are 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 32. They have this unusual connection with their mother because, right? Yeah. And because they still view themselves as a 6-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you help them fix that?
Well, it was very, and again, if you research a little bit, like psychology 101, are you ready? That women who are single, who like babies their son, or actually want him to stay close, like her, and like a lot of them, because when he leaves, she has nobody, no masculinity around her. So the boys become pseudo husbands. That's called child abuse in my world. Because psychologically, you ready? This is what I start with the man. When they're in that situation, I go, psychology 101. The job of a man, as a young man, is to get the hell away from his mother as soon as possible. You have to get it. So, and literally, if you're a good woman and you understand this beyond your needs and your needs of having a man around who you turn into your pseudo husband, your boy, right? If you're really like unselfish and get that his best interest, you have to stop controlling him by the age of 10. You have to stop controlling him by the age of 10. Psychology 101. You have to teach him and help him get the hell away from you and stop babying him and cuddling him and nursing him with all your action. You go by the age of 10, get this, by the age of 10, if you have regular meals and he wants to eat, he wants a snack in between, the fridge is right there. Make your own snack, right? You give him an alarm clock at 10, give him an alarm clock. And if he has to get up for school himself. He misses the bus, you go get on your bike, walk. I'm not driving you. It's on you. You put his life on his lap by the age of 10. You teach him, you put in life on him for him to handle the logistic of his life. And he understands very quickly the responsibility of being a young man. You want to go to the mall, get on your bike. I'm not driving you. You know what I mean? With a certain kindness, obviously. So there's a basic nurturing of, but you put his life back, you put him in charge of his own decision, you put him in charge of his choices with the guidance, obviously. You know what I mean? But this is how you raise a man to be a man. You don't try to control him. You have the house rules and you don't break the rules as consequences, but the rest of it, stop cuddling, baby him, stop making make him comfortable. Because what happens is this: by the age of 13, if you over cuddle, over nurture, by 13, just when they get into puberty, they actually, this is the boys, right? They actually believe that women are here to serve them, just like mom. And so they're boys and they go for women who have money, who take care of it like this, they want you. And it's always a disaster, because if you've been in a relationship with a boy, and this is always the same, this is always the same, this is always the same, it's disgusting, it's just what it is, it's terrible, here goes. Women with a boy for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right? That they cuddle and they're just trying to help him. And if he just like applies himself and he's almost there, and let me like pay for this, and just try to like just support him, right? Support him. That's not your job to support any grown man, first of all, right? So stop. I call it the Wendy syndrome, Peter Pan and Wendy. They can't stand to see their man in pain. It's not your job to be his mom, right? So let that go. But what happened is it becomes a mother-child relationship. So the guy that you're attracted because you're masculine, if you want to, whatever, is now your boy that you're trying to help. Within less than a year, the sex goes out the window, because if you're normal, no one wants to screw their mothers. And no mothers want to screw their son. So energetically, the sex goes out the window. So now you're just paying for him, supporting him, trying to get him to man up because he's got potential. You can see it. Ladies, stop. You don't help a grown man. That's his job. But get this is the worst. And when it falls apart, because eventually she's tired and she loses respect for him, because he says he wants to try and he keeps trying, but he never does. And when she gets it, right, she throws him out. And guess what? Every time, seriously, this is terrible. Every single time, you'll find out they had a girlfriend on the side the whole time. Because he's not going to sleep with you because the energy is off. So he's got a girlfriend on the side while you were paying for everything. The betrayal. And then if you have a child with this man, guess what? How are you going to raise that boy? You're going to destroy him. Because you think that's bad. And
the
you're going to
cycle
make him.
continues.
Ta-da! And it's a nightmare. 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 So get educated. Get over yourself. See your responsibilities in every dynamic, every relationship. Understand you can't raise men. You need men to raise boys, to be good boys. So put your boys around good men a lot. Stop babying him. Put his life on his lap, and give him the responsibility of growing up. My son, by the age of 15, he was a little early. By the way, all of my son's friends, the 5, at 22 years old, 2 of them have no driver's license. They don't drive. They don't have a license. What the hell, right? Like, remember, like at our age, at 14, you're like, I can't wait to drive to get the hell away from here, right? These guys
As far as possible. I was
passive.
Like, get me a car. Let me get out of here.
Seriously. So what I did with my son, again, to push him into responsibilities in his manhood, by the age of 15, before he's, I had a car business. And so I had a car that needs some work. that I'd purchased for $2 in a biscuit. It was really cheap, but it was a little Jeep. It was a black Jeep. But I go, that'd be a good first car. What? What? I go, get your license and, get yourself on the road, like independence. And so, but it was, again, the millennials, nobody sort of have the same mindset. But I kind of pushed him into the car. But what happened is he ended up working for me. So half his salary would go to repair the car, and the other salary went in his pocket. So for months, his salary was going to fixing this car for him to drive. Got the car fixed. He paid for the registration. He paid for the insurance because I'm not paying for anything. You pay for your own gas. He just turned 16 by then, because it took a while, and his life changed radically the moment that he took this responsibility. And I said, I'm never, ever paying for anything. But I kind of pushed him into the goodie. And obviously, guess what? He had to step up. So he got himself a job, and he goes to school, and he had a job at Home Depot for 3 years. Carries low. He pays rent, by the way. He doesn't stay. He's still here at home because he's going to school as well as working. But he pays rent. He could live anywhere else. He chooses to live with us because I cost the same as living anywhere else. So, but my point is, he's acting like a man already. He's fully independent all the way across his entire life, and has a plan, a goal, a life plan. He's going to school, studying, and he's working, and he's handling everything in his life. He's got a girlfriend. Like their dynamic is very good together. It's similar to my wife and I, which I adore. And he's living. He's a 22-year-old badass, and he actually has swag. I didn't have swag at 23. You just did 23. Yeah, I didn't have swag at 23. I was a dork. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But again, he has a sense of himself because I've been pushing him, his entire life. Just not toxically, just kept putting his life in his lap. You do it. You'll figure it out. You got this. Of course it's scary. You never did it. Do it anyway. How many times I said to him, I'm scared, Dad. You can be scared. It's normal. You've never done it. Do it anyway. See we come out on the other side.
See what happens.
And it kind of built his confidence, build his manhood, build his mojo, and build his character. And he's an incredible young man at 23. Incredible. And all his friends are looking up to him. And he becomes a role model for his friend. Anyway, I could do this all day long. You see it.
So let me ask you a question, Andre.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're coaching, because the fantastic stories that you have and what you're sharing is very aligned with how I live my life and how I discuss it. Because I pride myself on being able to accomplish things such as tackling an issue, finding a solution, things of that nature. And another area of very high importance of me is the mark that I leave out in the world, right?
Legacy.
I want to show people exactly, you took the words right out of my mouth. I want to show people that this is the legacy of Terrain, and legacy for men could be a few ways for men, right? We either do with our accomplishments, with children, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So take us through your coaching, because I want to get into that dynamic as we enter this phase of our interview. Okay. Tell me about it. What are some of the steps that you're taking to help men and women, and where do you ultimately want to see it go in the future?
Well, like I said, in the end, everything I teach is nature. What works better? And there's a modern way to do this. So again, people just, we go back to the 50s. Not what I'm saying. But there's a kind of, get this. There's things that work better. The things that are natural. Are you ready? Get this. Man today, like you, like me, like every man out there, regardless if they're millennials or whatever, they're kind of like rubbed off of it somewhere. But men are still expected to go make something of themselves in culture, in society. A man has to go and conquer his fear, conquer his himself, build something so he can develop respect by both men and women. Men's roles have never changed. Men still expect to be very traditional that way. Women want those guys. Except now we teach women to not be traditional. So women want traditional men, but they refuse to be traditional, or choose to not be traditional, or don't know how to be traditional. They were raised to be traditional, to be wives, to be mothers, and also business women, but there's a flow, right? So what men want, traditional men want, is traditional women. This is where the wheels come off. So it's easy for men. Conquer, push, fight. You know what I mean? Be uncomfortable all the time, every day. From the moment you get up to the moment at the end of the day, you can sit and go, poof, that was a good one. Do it again tomorrow, right? This is how you get ahead. So this is what I challenge men with with their discomfort, right? So I say to them, get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's all we're gonna do. And you watch them bloom right in front of you. They're afraid to approach women. Go approach women. Dude, what if she turns me down? I go, well, you have nothing to start with. What's the problem? You're gonna sit there, say I should talk to her. I'm too afraid to talk to her. So she walks away. You go, God damn it, I should have talked to her. Like, now you beat yourself up. Stupid. You still have nothing. Go take a chance. Go say hi. If she says I have a boyfriend, you go, well, nice to meet you. But you freaking did it. That's a notch in your belt, right? Everything is like this. Just step in a little bit. Like I taught my son, you can be afraid, do it anyway. This is how you develop your character and your mojo and your confidence. And so it's all it is. It's literally, you don't want to do it, go do it. You're uncomfortable, great, step in it. And this is quickly becomes the whatever. So it's not that hard. But if you're afraid and you don't feel good about it, you're a girl. Again, I say, if you're going to be masculine, it doesn't matter. I don't care how you feel about it. It needs to get done. I don't care how you feel about it. This is how you're going to grow. I don't care what you feel about it, right? So I teach men in my world, you talk about feeling words, right? And you're right. So men reveal themselves, also women, with the words that they use. The quantum energy of our words is very powerful. We don't think that. We forget that. But I teach men to stop just using the feeling words, right? So get this. In my world, it's very simple. I teach women that as well. If you pay attention to people, they'll reveal themselves in their energy and how masculine or feminine they are. Because the masculine words that both men and women use when they're masculine is I want and I think. I want and I think. I want and I think. Talk to a woman at work. Want, think, right? It's going to be very linear, very masculine. The problem is they don't get off of that when you get in the world. Then they go want, think on men, and men like, I don't want any of that. Right? So the masculine words are want and think. Listen to people's language and they reveal the masculinity, both men and women. The feminine words, quantum energy of words for the feminine. Are you ready? Can you guess? Can you guess?
Oh yeah, they're feelings. Foul feelings based.
That's one. What's the other one?
I like.
Nope. Don't want.
Mm.
Don't want and feel. So if you listen to women, they'll say stuff like, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be single. I don't want to be, right? When you ask her what she wants, you get crickets. Women don't know what they want. Now, there's a good reason for that. I'm not going to explain, but they don't know what they want. And if they do, they want general. I want a good relationship. What the hell does that mean? Nothing. I want a good bed. What is that, right? So it's not specific. However, when you say, what is it that you don't want? Well, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be talked to that way. I don't want to be disrespected. And this is the first thing I do with my clients. What's your don't want list? What do you mean? What is it you don't want anymore? Right? And woo, the list comes out. And that, as you flip it, becomes your want list. Now we know what you want because we know what you don't. But anyway, so the feminine words is don't want and feel. I feel. So when men use those words, they're feminine. When women use I want and I think, they're masculine. So just paying attention to this is incredibly eye-opening. And I have one of my friends also a coach. And to be a coach, to coach is to be in my feminine energy. I'm teaching, I'm nurturing, right? There's a feminine energy. And then after I'm done with this, I go to my garage, I scratch my butt, and I fix my car. You know what I mean? Like I could do both because I understand the dance. We could all do both, and that's the flex. That's the point. In my world, a badass woman is a woman who could work like a man if she wants to, and then be a girl the rest of the time. That's a badass. You could do both. That's what I teach. So, one thing, right? So when women say I want and I think, I want and I think, she's masculine. So I teach with people really to use the right appropriate language for. So one of my buddy is also a coach. Like I said, we're feminine in our work, we're masculine in life. We know how to do both. And when I talk to him, funny because we check with each other on a regular basis, and I listen to his words. Dre. So I think this new blah 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 is a good idea, and I feel that maybe there's something else to be done. And he goes, think, want, feel, don't want, like all the time. He goes back and forth between the masculine and feminine, and he's not fully aware because I teach it, and he doesn't teach that stuff. He's not really aware that he's doing it, but I can see him flex back and forth. Yet, he's as a father and a husband and a provider. He does his masculine part, and his teaching have him often in his feminine. It's interesting, fascinating. So, again, the language you use, and as far as man, stop feeling. It doesn't matter how you feel. You know, you can use your feeling with your girlfriend. That's fine, to some degree. But as far as building yourself up, building a life, do what you have to do logically. Forget how you feel about your boss, feel about anything. It makes you weak. And it is not sexy. Women don't want any of that. Even if they say, I really want a guy that, you know, is vulnerable and sweet. No, you don't. Because again, he can't make you feel safe. And in the end, you won't respect him. And you'll try to find yourself a big macho guy who says, come here, stop talking. Come over here. No, we're not doing that. Let's go. And you go, oh my God, you're so powerful. Oh my God. And she gets all girly, right? Seriously. So
Yeah, she has stardust in her eyes, and she
ta-da,
gets swept off her feet.
because she feels safe. Because she can't mess with him, and she can bend him and change his mind because he knows who he is. And that's super sexy on the chick, on a woman. Super sexy. So assertiveness, being direct, being confident, being solid, being unwavering, all of that, super sexy. You only get that by conquering your life. Simple.
So, Andre, as we close,
Sure.
what's some final words or advice maybe that you want to help leave with young men and young women who are
Oof.
trying to figure it out?
I want to say this because this is what I see. The real problem is the cultural crap that's out there. You know, be careful what you buy into and really list it on. If you're a woman raised without a father, forget your mother. Her poor choices doesn't get to pollute your life. Like, you know what I mean? You want to be a mom and a wife and a businesswoman at the same time. There's a way to do this, right? But the idea that being a mother is below you and kids will ruin your life, and to be a wife, you're better than being a slave to some dude. That's fucking ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. And I'm cursing. Sorry. I try not to, but it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. So I say, think for yourself, right? My assistant is 28 years old, young girl. She's in California, right? She's a product of her school, her parent, and her friends and the culture. She cannot, you know what she wants? Because she's in my realm, so we talk about this. It's my job. She's my assistant. What she wants is a marriage and 3 kids. She cannot say that out loud. She cannot say that out loud. They lynch after her. Girl, we got to talk. You better. And she's like, can you shut the hell up? This is what I want, right? So she learned not to talk about it, but she still has a mindset, right? So the idea of, you can't tell you how many women are confused because ultimately they want to be feminine. They want to be ultimately, and most of them really want to be mothers and wives, but later after my career is done. But that's a whole different set of problems. There's a disaster in the making. These are my clients, right? So think for yourself. Forget your mother and her bad choices. Forget your culture. Forget your freaking teachers. Forget your friends. What do you want? You want a wife? You want to be a wife and a mother at one point throughout, and at the same time, it's an impact on culture. Beautiful. That's what most women do. They have a balanced life and a happy life, right? As a man, do you want to be respected? Do you want to have some mojo? You have some confidence? You want women to find you sexy and attractive? Get the hell to work. You know what I mean? So forget soft, sweet, sensitive. Forget your mother who trying to take your balls off. Forget, like, women don't want vulnerable, sensitive, sweet, feeling man all the time. They need some of that, but you have to be a man first. You know what I mean? So just be careful. Be careful what you believe, what you were taught, what you bought into. Think for yourself. Ultimately, the quality of your life and your happiness is worth it. But wake up. Think for yourself. Forget everything that we're taught that you bought into if you didn't think about it. Think it through.